Hello, my name is Diego, and this is for my English class, so please take that into consideration. The next part of the video is for my teacher to grade. Thank you. When we think about the best shows and movies, what comes to mind? Is it Interstellar, Breaking Bad, Cats? I can't tell you, but these are considered the best pieces of media. So why is it that anime isn't in the conversation? Let's look back as to why. Anime in the 2010s was considered weird to watch/like, but when 2020 rolled around, anime grew in popularity and continues to grow today. But why? What made it so popular all of a sudden? That's what I'm here to find out. To answer all these questions, we should look back and examine the era in which anime, so we all know what happened in the year 2020. But if you need a recap, here's a reminder. In the year 2020, there was a global pandemic called coronavirus or COVID-19, and this led to everyone around the world into isolation. So no in-person school and no hangouts, but worst of all, no access to movie theaters. No movie theaters came with the demand and entertainment, and that demand was filled by companies with streaming services like Hulu, Disney+, HBO Max, etc. So this obviously led to those services skyrocketing, and so did anime streaming services like Funimation and Crunchyroll at the time. An article I found called Anime and Manga Took Off with Young Adults and Teens During Lockdown, and it stuck. By, I hope I'm pronouncing this right, Anna Savchenko. It states, the fandom surrounding anime and manga had been gaining steam before the pandemic, but interest in Japanese pop culture surged during lockdown, especially among young people like Aldous and Borgs, and it hasn't faded. Experts attribute that the availability of streaming services like Crunchyroll, Hulu, and Netflix, which make it easier to watch anime. This article's main points are people and how they found anime, and one of those stories is from a guy named Esteban and how he was bored and found anime through Netflix during quarantine. He later found a community and suggested he watch more anime, getting him more into it. And this story perfectly portrays how so many people got into it during that time, making the surge start here. Okay, imagine this, being trapped at home for 5 months while all your friends are freaking out about how Marley's getting attacked by the Scout Regiment. That was a time to be alive, and if you were chronically online, you were bound to watch anime. And I mean, who wasn't chronically online at this point? You were by yourself at home, isolated. Another source I found helpful for this topic was Anime Grows in Post-Pandemic Pop Culture by Alison Bayer. And it talks about, with new animated content being pumped out and promoted in live-action entertainment getting cut short, COVID-19 coincidentally paved the way for a new generation of anime. Replacing the first generation of anime such as Bleach, Naruto, and One Piece is Jujutsu Kaisen, Demon Slayer, and My Hero Academia. For new generation watchers, the former 3 anime are what began their journey. Fan bases exploded, TikToks are being made, art is being created, and the word about these shows is growing exponentially. And you can find hundreds of more sources like these that support COVID being a huge part of the popularity surge in the beginning of 2020. And this is just one of my reasons. Referring back to earlier when I claimed Breaking Bad is considered one of the best pieces of media, well, if you watched the show, I'm sure you would agree. I'm not going to get into too much detail about the show, but for context, IMDb is a website where audience can rate episodes of their favorite shows. Fans often use the website to argue their show with fans of other pieces of media. Yet amongst this chaos of fandoms colliding, Breaking Bad was the only show to have a 10 out of 10 ranked on the website. Unfortunately for Breaking Bad fans, the episode was reviewed bombed in 2026 by Game of Thrones fans, bringing the episode's rating down to a 9.9. Now you're probably asking yourself, what does this have to do with anime's growth and popularity in the West? Well, take for example Attack on Titan, a show widely regarded as the perfect anime, had 3 10 out of 10 episodes before getting review bombed to only having 1 10 out of 10 episode. No other show, movie, or anime has ever done what Attack on Titan has done. According to the article, Attack on Titan, How This Anime Series Has Dominated the Ranks of Television by Baylor Bryant, says, the most recent episode of Japanese anime, Attack on Titan from 2,000 years ago, earned the #1 spot on IMDb's list of the greatest TV episode of all time. The episode was also the only episode on IMDb's list with the perfect 10 out of 10 rating. As of now, the episode sits at a 9.9, but the dominance of Attack on Titan has not been faltered. 3 of Attack on Titan episodes rank with the top 5, with the series holding the #1 and 2 spots. Even if you aren't an avid watcher of anime and an enjoyer of other genres of films and shows, you can give credit where credit is due. This article was also written in 2022, and for the most part, it describes perfectly how dominant AOT was and how no other shows, not even fan favorite Breaking Bad, did what AOT did. This obviously helped popularize anime. Imagine seeing your fan favorite show get outrated by some anime. You would grow curious and want to check out what was so good about said anime. Not only that, but people always say to watch AOT as your first anime because it's that good.
My soldiers scream out! My soldiers rage!
Now let's get to something more recent. We've seen why anime went from weirdo stuff to watch to being a nerd thing like superheroes and Star Wars. But there's more to it why it's still getting popular and still rising up. Imagine yourself going into a movie theater to watch Fantastic Four, and you sit and you're on your phone waiting for the movie to start, not caring for the trailers, but one trailer in particular catches your eye. You see the good animation and it's amazing, better than most animated shows and movies you've watched. The characters seem familiar, and you realize it's Demon Slayer, and you're surprised because who knew an anime can have a fight scene and animation this good? In the last year of 2025, I started to notice that anime studios started to publish anime movies and the first 3 episodes of a new season into theaters. And I didn't really think about it, but I thought it was awesome to see it on the big screen. Doing this assignment made me realize this could be a marketing strategy to target a larger audience. And I don't mean to offend anyone, I just don't know if there's a name for them, but movie nerds is what I'll call them, which are people who probably majored in film in college and use Letterboxd. These movie nerds try to watch not every movie, but a lot of movies and give their thoughts on them. And when you see Chainsaw Man, Dandadan, and Demon Slayer, they're going to go watch it. And I don't know if they intended to use this as a marketing strategy, but releasing these in theaters sure as hell got anime as a whole to be seen. The article, How Cinemas Became the Host for New TV Anime Premieres by Alicia Haddock, says, last year, we saw Demon Slayer once again preview its upcoming season by screening select episodes in cinemas for the new Hashira training arc, marketing it as a world tour that simultaneously screens in other countries around the world. This follows up their 2023 world tour screenings for the Swordsmith's Village arc, and shows how successful these screenings can be. In Japan alone, the To the Hashira training screenings earned over 2 billion yen and entered the top 20 for theatrical releases in 2024. But it doesn't take a series as big as Demon Slayer to make a nationwide rollout of preview episodes a success. This proves my point further and shows how by putting it out in theaters, not only do they get a profit from it, but they also reach a wider audience to watch anime. Maybe in the future we'll start seeing more anime movies and premieres in theaters from the large success. Nothing emphasizes anime's influence better than the many protests that occurred in 2025 and 2026, particularly the revolutionary movement in Indonesia. All these protests share a similar intention in regards to not only fighting against their government's corruption, but fighting under the same symbol, a Straw Hat Jolly Roger, which comes from the hit anime and manga One Piece. To explain why everyone is using this symbol out of everything they could have used, it's because One Piece's values and morals are similar. It follows a group of pirates that fight corruption and fight for justice. Most of the corruption comes from the government, hence the parallel of One Piece and the protests going on. The biggest protest that started it all was the one in Indonesia, and the article, How a Cartoon Skull Became a Symbol of Defiance in Indonesia by Kelly Ng, explains, in the same way the pirates in the series, led by their leader, Monkey D. Luffy, raises the Jolly Roger flag as a symbol of freedom against their government. Some Indonesian residents say raising their flag is a symbol that we love this country, but don't completely agree with its policies. The anime reflect the injustice and inequality that Indonesians experience, said Ali Maulana, a resident of Jayapura City in Papua Province. And in other cases, it's not just a Straw Hat Jolly Roger. There was a case where someone was holding a sign in an American protest against ICE, and it stated, "Existing is not a crime," and went viral on social media. A Facebook post by verified account Hype Cage says, a protest sign featuring Frankie from One Piece, reading, "Existing is not a crime," was spotted at an anti-ICE demonstration in the US on January 31st, 2026. The sign echoes themes long associated with the series: freedom, resistance, and the right to live without fear. Reactions were mixed. Some fans praised the reference as consistent with One Piece's anti-oppression narrative, while others criticized the use of anime imagery in real-world political protests. The Facebook post helped show how big anime has gotten to the point where people are questioning it if it has gone too far. If people are questioning if anime has gotten too far from what it's meant to be, then we should think how much publicity are all these protests giving anime. Let's think about how an outsider will think of this. They'll see the protest and eventually give in on why they are using anime flag as their symbol of freedom. And this shows that if people keep coming together like this, then they'll eventually get even more popular, like in Nepal, where they hung the flag on the gate of an outside burning building. CNN article, Gen Z protesters are uniting behind a manga pirate flag by Lex Harvey says, as Nepal's famed Singhadarbar Palace went up in flames last week, protesters determined to rattle the government hung a manga flag showing a skull wearing a straw hat against the building's ornate golden gates. Just reading that sentence gives you goosebumps, and if you showed this to people in 2010s, they wouldn't have believed you. And with these articles itself talking about these protests, it's giving anime publicity to become even more popular. We're near the end of the video, so let me try to wrap this up, but I wanted to talk about one more thing. What are the most streaming services that everyone uses? You'd probably say Netflix, Peacock, Disney+, but have you ever realized how expensive those are compared to Crunchyroll, an anime streaming service? Netflix's standard price is $19.99, compared to the top supreme price of Crunchyroll, which is $18.99. So you can get the top tier subscription at Crunchyroll for $1 cheaper for the lowest price without ads at Netflix. Not only that, but the rise of anime in the West, how it became mainstream by Spiel, talks on different points of how it became popular, but the one I wanted to focus on the most is the one where they talk about streaming services and the convenience it has. They state one of the most impactful innovations was the adoption of the simulcast model, which allowed anime episodes to be streamed internationally within hours of their broadcast in Japan. This was groundbreaking because it was virtually erased the long delays that previously plagued Western audiences, who often had to wait for months or even years to see official releases. Streaming services in general helped move anime to become better, and with its cheap prices doubled that. I can go for hours talking about this topic because I have been watching anime since 2018, so this is one of my favorite things to talk about and to bond over. So I've seen it become really weird, and I've seen it become really popular, and overall I think anime has surpassed its limits and will continue to grow and become more popular than it already is. And I wanted to thank Professor Ruiz for putting up with me and David throughout the class. I think this is the best class I have taken at FIU. Thank you so much. And thank you for my classmates for also being supportive. I love all of you guys. I'll see you later.